is coming on later tonight, and of course there's also be 1500 meters that there's still hope for Kenya to clinch its first goal at the London 2012 Olympics. Moving on, 2 occupants of a chopper were rescued and rushed to Nairobi Hospital after it crash-landed at the Wilson Airport and burst into flames this afternoon. According to police, the chopper was taking off when it crash-landed a few seconds later. Here is Angel Katusia with more.
Immediately after the 2 occupants had been rescued after the chopper came down just seconds after it took off, the chopper burst into flames. According to eyewitness reports, the firefighting truck present at the airport could not contain the chopper flames until minutes later when another one arrived. The chopper was coming from Juba in South Sudan and was reportedly making a stopover at the Wilson Airport when it exploded. The aircraft was scheduled to go to Mwanza in Tanzania before landing in Lusaka, Zambia. Unconfirmed reports indicate that one of the 2 occupants, a Zambian national, is the owner of the aircraft. The incident comes months after a police chopper crashed within Gom Forest and killed 6 occupants, including the then Internal Security Minister George Saitoti and his Assistant Minister Orwa Ojode. For KTN Sunday Night, I'm Angel Katusia.
Well, let's shift gears to politics now. And Prime Minister Raila Odinga has, for the first time in a public event, spoken of the controversial book released by his former advisor Miguna Miguna. Speaking in Kibera, Raila said he will not respond to the strong allegations made by Miguna in his new book. KTN's Asha Mwilu brings us this and more stories from the political scene.
The campaigns for the country's top cities warming up, with Prime Minister Raila Odinga taking to his Langata backyard to sell his agenda for the next general elections. The Premier, who was accompanied by his brother Oburu Odinga, among other ODM leaders, for the first time publicly disparaged the recent expose released by his former aide Miguna Miguna. The book, titled Peeling the Mask, entails strong allegations of corruption against Raila and his close associates.
Unaona Raila akienda tu China kidogo, akirudi barabara inajengwa. Akienda huko Uingereza kidogo, akirudi pesa imekuja, barabara inajengwa, sitima inajengwa, tisio ni infrastructure. Juzi mliona wazimu kama amechukua nguo zangu. Mimi niliamua kutofuata wazimu. Nikakataa kufukuza wazimu, nikasema ninunue nguo nyingine. Nimefanya makosa. Wale wazimu wanahitaji matibabu.
And still in Nairobi County, Deputy Prime Minister Musalia Mudavadi took his campaigns to different sections of the city to popularize his United Democratic Forum UDF party. Mudavadi's campaigns kicked off at Satellite area and finally ended up in Kawangware, where he was opening his party's new offices.
Wewe kama ni mtoto wa ndugu yangu, na wewe kama upendi Mjaluo, kama upendi Mkikuyu, kama upendi Mkalenjin, kama upendi Mkamba, kama upendi Muhindi, kama upendi vijana wa Kenya wengine, then you are not my brother.
Nimejionea drainage ni mbaya, maji hakuna, barabara za kindani ni mbaya. Tukiwa na hali mbaya ya hatari, hata gari la kuzima moto halitafika haraka.
And while Mudavadi wooed voters in Nairobi County, his counterpart Uhuru Kenyatta moved into Kajiado County to campaign for his party's aspirants in the forthcoming by-elections in Kajiado North. This was the first time for the DPM to campaign in Kajiado North since the tragic death of the area MP and Internal Security Minister George Saitoti.
Voter registration. Kumekuwa na mzozo kidogo, nataka niwahakikishie nikiwa waziri anayehusika ya kwamba mzozo huo utasuluhishwa.
Sijauliza mtu aninenee mimi. Mimi nitajitetea, nimeenda Hague nimejitetea, nitarudi nitajitetea. Hata sasa Kama niko na lolote la kusema, niko na uwezo wa kujisemea.
With Uhuru Kenyatta's TNA party spreading its campaigns to all parts of the country, the September 14th by-election here in Kajiado North will be very crucial because it will be the first time that the National Alliance fronts a candidate on the ballot paper since it was launched earlier this year. Reporting for KTN, I'm Asha Mwilu in Kajiado County.
Well, those are the leading luminaries in this presidential contest, but don't forget there are others. For example, the Kenya National Congress, whose presidential candidate Peter Kenneth maintains that those who are talking of a two-horse race in the battle for the presidency in the next election may be forgetting that Kenyans will be looking for people who have proven that they can deliver. Kenneth and his rival in the RBK party, Professor James Ole Kiapi, maintain that the Kenyans should weigh candidates on the basis of what they can do rather than where they come from.
Peter Kenneth told Ongata Rongai residents not to write off those seen as the underdogs in the presidential race, maintaining that when all the chips are down, Kenyans may decide to go with those whose track record in public service has been convincingly proven.
There are those who say there are two horses. I think there are two horses. But it will be about the performing horse and the non-performing horses. Ni uongozi ambao unatakiwa kufanya kazi na wale ambao hawawezi wawekwe kando.
The same sentiments came from the Restore and Build Kenya presidential hopeful, former Education Permanent Secretary Professor James Ole Kiapi, who was in Magadi. He wants voters to ignore ethnic allegiances in the coming election and ensure an issue-based competition.
The next election is about the destiny of Kenya, and we really got to be very decisive. We are not going to, again, vote along the usual tribal lines. It is time that we make our country the winner.
The Party of Action presidential hopeful Raphael Tuju is worried that legal hurdles are making it nearly impossible for the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission to procure effectively for the biometric voter registration kits.
I'm sure that if government, if the cabinet and parliament work together, they could be able to provide some exceptions so that at least we have a credible electoral process.
Meanwhile, DP's Mutava Musimi wants Kenyans to reject calls for a return to the manual voter registration system, saying it is dangerous for the election. Mutava was speaking during his political campaigns in Kitengela.
We must make sure that we go electronic. We cannot afford to go back to where we were in 0708. We really would be staring down the barrel of the gun.
Now, KTN, Sunday night.
And moving away from politics, we bring you a story of a gentleman who donated one of his kidneys to his younger brother to save his brother's life. He never thought he would be found in the same predicament. Robert Kiprop in Chepkanga village, described by his friends as kind and generous, always helping out in the community, has found himself in his late brother's shoes after being diagnosed with a kidney condition. KTN's Masi Kandie brings us a story of hope amid despair in a family with a recurring kidney condition.
Robert Kiprop and his wife Chip Kimboy have walked through tough parts in life, parts that Kiprop's family hoped would be put in the past. A story of same script, different cast.
Wakati aliscan kidney, ndio sasa akashtuka. Akiniambia hii kidney yako kumbe iko mbaya.
Twice a week, Robert has to go through dialysis at the Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital in Eldoret Town, a kidney condition that has taken Robert down the memory lane. His younger brother Michael, who passed away in 1994, was diagnosed with a kidney condition. Then, in his 20s, Robert gave his brother his only option left.
I made a decision. I said, well, I have to save this gentleman. We were told, and I was told, that one kidney is as good as two. So if you donate this one, you'll remain with one and you'll be as good as any other person.
After his brother passed away, his father was diagnosed with the same condition.
Pesa inaisha. Tunaanza kuuza property.
He lost his dad to the same condition in 2006. Now he is left to fight the same battle that saw him lose 2 of his family members.
I don't want to surrender my life. I'm ready to fight on. I have to fight on. I have people who look after me, or most of my brothers, my family, and I have to fight on. I'm ready. I want to just keep on fighting till I'm through.
A condition that Robert says is quite expensive, needing special diet. The father of 2 tells us he will push on, hoping that the government will look into the maintenance of such conditions, remaining grateful for each single day. It is said that do unto others what you would have them do unto you. For Robert, he has already done that. The story of one kind-hearted man in need of the very same help. Mercy Kandi reporting for KTN at Chepkanga village in the county of Uasin Gishu.
Robert, you are a noble man. Wish you all the best, and yes, fight on. Now, if you ever find yourself traveling to Metro District, this is at the border of Kenya and Tanzania. Ensure that you tell your loved ones well in advance, because once you reach your destination, you will not be able to call or text. Metal is a land where sending messengers is a necessity, and letters are perhaps the only connection in the most residents have to the rest of the world. Now, if you're desperate to talk to your loved ones while in this unique district, be prepared to make a long trek, as KTN's Catherine Omondo discovered during her visit to the land that technology has forgotten.
It's Tuesday, market day for the people of Metro region found at the border of Kenya and Tanzania. The market is set at a particular time and place because here, communication is not as easy as picking up the phone and calling a loved one. This is because there's no communication signal. Metro is the land technology forgot.
We don't think we have been neglected. I don't think we are in Kenya.
Those who live at the very border of Kenya and Tanzania are perhaps lucky because they can use Tanzania's Vodacom signal to communicate.
You have to get the line from Tanzania, and you know it's very expensive.
So many opt to make the trip to Linty Hills, a 1-hour trek which is far from easy. In addition, the rocks and loose soil make it especially dangerous. Despite this, women will climb up this hill with babies on their backs, all in the name of communication.
For those of us who live in town, we probably take telecommunications for granted. But for the thousands of people who live in Metro, a place at the border of Kenya and Tanzania, telecommunications is a serious matter. And though they have telephones, they have to walk several kilometers before they can make that contact with that person.
Given the dire situation, criminals have taken advantage of Metro's unique communication quagmire. According to the residents, groups of young men waylaid travelers along the rough road by setting up roadblocks. Ironically, the first item to be snatched are mobile phones.
Actually, it's a problem to parents, especially communicating to students who are in schooling in Nairobi.
The security issue has greatly affected the attendance of the Center of Excellence, Metro Mixed Secondary School, which houses only 174 students between Form 1 and 3.
We had a Science Congress, which was happening here at Ilbisil, which is about 50 kilometers from here. But the date that we had been given had been changed. And since we are this far and we are cut from network, we were not informed about it. We prepared our students only to arrive at the center, and we are told that it had been postponed.
The school administrators have managed to find a particular spot in the school where telecom wireless signal can be found through a satellite phone. However, here's the catch. Move 10 inches away from the spot, the signal disappears.
The principal has to get out of Metro to go and realize that there are some important information that he gets that he is unable to get while here because of inaccessibility.
A number of Metro residents have complained to various service providers explaining the situation in the region. However, they claim their efforts to get a mast in Metro has been futile. Catherine Omondo, KTN.
Latif, we probably take it for granted here, but communication has become a real necessity. I mean, schools are not operating because of communication.
Indeed. I mean, you see now, it's not so far. I mean, the distance between here and Tanzania is not so far.
Right.
And to say that there's no coverage of any kind,
Unheard of.
It's totally unheard
Well,
of.
thank you very much, Catherine Omantha, for that. Remember, you're watching KTN Sunday night, and just ahead.
Well, we're going to highlight the outgoing Standard Group CEO Paul Melly in a special edition of Money and Power. Keep it right here for that.
It's so Come here, you dirty little... Oh no, here we go again. What was that all about? All hell breaks loose every time he has to take a bath. And then I have to deal with my daughter's complaints about how soap dries her skin. I wish there was a better way to bath. There is. New Dettol Body Wash has a pH-balanced formula and trusted Dettol ingredients to keep your family's skin clean, moisturized and protected from germs. And its improved range of fragrances and rich lather puts the fun back into bathing. New Dettol Body Wash, the better way of bathing. Dettol.
In partnership with the Kenya Medical Association.
Feeling hungry?
Oh, yes.
Then eat something healthy. New Multivix Healthy Choice whole grain cereal biscuits. Loaded with wheat for energy, millet for calcium and fiber, oats to reduce cholesterol, corn for a healthy heart, and the goodness of natural honey. 4 Nutri-Grains to keep you full for longer. Be good to yourself. Get a healthy start. A high-fiber diet, a healthy snack. Anytime, anywhere. Manji Multivix. Your healthy choice.
Coca-Cola, be part of the journey. African dishes in association with Golden Fry.
Deep fried chicken. Ingredients: 8 chicken drumstick pieces, half a cup all-purpose flour, salt and black pepper to taste, 1 egg beaten, 1 cup breadcrumbs, Golden Fry oil for deep frying. Directions: boil the chicken pieces for about 20 minutes or until they float. While the chicken is boiling, prepare 3 bowls as follows: with flour, salt and black pepper, with the beaten egg, with the breadcrumbs. Once the chicken is ready, drain it, set aside to cool. Once cooled, roll the chicken pieces first in the flour mixture, then egg and finally the breadcrumbs. In a deep frying pan, heat the Golden Fry oil until hot. Then add the evenly coated chicken pieces to the already hot oil. Deep fry for 5 to 10 minutes or until golden brown. Serve hot with chips and coleslaw salad.
Golden Fry. Fries more, lasts longer.
Ice lemon twist, ready to drink vodka, mixed to precision for moderate drinking. Now available. Enjoy responsibly. From the home of quality, truly Kenyan. This is not just about apples. This is about you. How your simple actions can change the lives of others by sharing your knowledge and skill. Together, we can bring changes to communities, create hope, and make a valuable contribution in the lives of others. The Safaricom Foundation World of Difference program is now open to the public. We are inviting you to volunteer your knowledge and skills and make a world of difference. Volunteer today and make a difference in Kenya.
Twawika
silver and bronze. It's the red. It's the green and yellow. It's the black, red, and green. Because at the Olympic Games, it's not the color you go home with that matters. It's the colors you came in. And when colors mean this much, you can only trust them to Ariel, proud keeper of Kenya's colors.
From the most stylish of streets to the roughest of roads, from the town by day to the country at night.
The Nissan Navara Double Cab is one of the unique pickups in the market. One of the features that distinguish the Navara from the rest of the Nissan off-road family is its powerful 2.5-litre common rail turbo engine with outstanding fuel efficiency. The Navara has a sleek yet tough appearance. Everything about the Nissan Navara's exterior exudes power and confidence. It is an ideal vehicle either for individuals who enjoy an off-road lifestyle or business people looking for a reliable pickup.
Nani kama Nissan?
Gold Rush in association with Kenya's migration to digital television.
No gold medals will be won here, but thousands of people will still turn up 24 hours of every day at the Games. This is the main media complex, the largest non-competition venue ever built for an Olympic Games. Located in the northwest of Olympic Park, it will be the biggest single media facility in the world. Housing both the International Broadcasting Centre, IBC for electronic media, and Main Press Centre, MPC for print media. The complex is 275 metres long, 104 metres wide, 21 metres tall, and big enough to house 5 jumbo jets. So when the Games is brought to an estimated 4 billion people worldwide, it will have originated from here.
It's time to migrate your analog TV to the beautiful new world of digital television. Digital TV, a beautiful new world of entertainment.
Natural beer, sugar-free, truly Kenyan.
Of course, KTN Sports Today begins with the news from the Olympics. This time it's still some more sad news for Kenya, where boxer Elizabeth Andiego was outboxed by Marina Volnova of Kazakhstan in the women's middleweight 75